And hi, everybody. This is volume 2 from Perfectly Pitched, and we are into a perfectly windy season. I hope you have in your home offices or you make the way to your office in a very secure way, because it's a lot of wind today in Europe and Germany. So hopefully everybody is fine. Stay calm and stay for the next hour with us here, and you will have another windy season within your minds, because we have so many good and brand new startups for you and solutions, which is very fresh wind into your solution broadcasts. We are happy that we have today about 7 new startups for you, and even now we start with a short keynote by Thomas Zsulits, and he's from Global Supply Doka and one of the supporters of Supplytechs, who's providing us today. Hey, Thomas, how are you?
Hi, thank you, Stephen. I'm doing fine, thank you.
So please be fine and just give us your special keynote for what is happening in the world, what is happening in our supply chains, and how is the next way to come over these things and have solutions at hand which helps us in this.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, I took the time and thought about what happened during the last weeks, month, or the last 1 or 2 years. And looking back, I mean, everybody of us was faced with Corona. We have a conflict between Russia, China, US. We have faced logistic solutions problems in the point of China, how to get logistics, how to get containers, chips, the prices were increasing dramatically. So a lot of things are happening now and are still going on now. And looking to the companies, so looking to a lot of companies, I see that they're all working with a ERP system, sometimes better performing, sometimes not so good performing. And for me, the question popped up is this the future? How can these ERP systems face the future and the demand which we have today on the markets? And being more in detail, so what exactly is approaching us, or which challenges do we have in front of us? And on the one side, of course, the prices, it's a kind of rocket. They're extremely high and increasing daily, partly. In addition to that, the availability of the products. So partly the prices are increasing, the availability is getting worse. If there is an availability, then usually it's also a question how to get the transport to the company. ESG topics, so CO2 is getting more and more and more. The requirements of the European Union, the laws are changing. So also here we are facing a lot of kind of workload for the procurement or for the supply chain organization. And last but not least, the whole topic of COVID and the trade wars which we are facing. So what does that mean for a company? What does that mean for a system or for a request for a system? On the one hand, it of course has to go on or has to still manage the operational processes. But in addition to that, a lot of companies are faced with, let's say, a certain kind of number of human capital, of FTEs, of headcounts. So looking at the higher demand, the fast changing world, and the more challenges organizations are faced with. So how are they able to be successful in these times? And I believe here very strongly that there will be a dramatic change, or there has to be a dramatic change. So, for example, when companies have a lot of suppliers in China or in international faraway countries, the question is, how do they find new suppliers? And I really believe and trust here that startups can help us, because they can fulfill in a very fast way the need to look for suppliers, to make RFQs very efficient, very automatic driven. Spend analytics can help us to analyze all these requests in a very fast time, and also cooperate with the ERP systems from the companies. So this is, I think, also a very challenging time for procurement organization, supply chain organization within a company, because it can also increase their value if they are getting startups on board, if they are cooperating with startups to be more professional, more effective, and for sure for their business bring an additional value add. So I really believe that startups can help the companies, especially in times like today, to increase their productivity and efficiency dramatically. So I would like to go back now. Christopher.
Hi, this is me again. Was wonderful to listen to you, and I really see that there is the 3 big points, which is savings, sustainability, and risk. Is innovation also a part of that? Is that another special thing, or are you subsumize that?
I believe that especially innovation is a very important driver, especially for the future. I had a lot of discussion with other companies, and they are focusing the resources on getting the business running. But very often they forget to think about risk and innovations, because these are the most important elements for the future. And they are asking themselves how to place the resources on this topic by still be able to let the production running. So there is a kind of split, the companies, I mean, or they have to fulfill different kind of demands, and they have to get more proficient. They have to digitize or automize their processes much more in a much faster time. The best with or without their IT department, because usually there are also low capacities. So they're in a strange situation, let's say. And
Thank you,
innovation
Thomas.
and
Thank
things
you.
is the future.
Thank you so much. I think this is a very good wording from you, which is more automation. We need more automation. And one of the possibilities for that is having Lotse, which is one of our first next startup with Nicholas. Hello, Nicholas. Hi.
Hi, Stephan. Thank you for the introduction.
Thank you. I just saw a little bit of your LinkedIn profile, and one of the sentences there means on a mission to create sustainable change with an entrepreneurial mindset. Wow, that sounds really great and so good. And I think also that sustainable is a very important thing here we have to do. So, but what I also see is you do more automation in things which procurement departments usually do. One of that is an automated RFX. What is an automated RFX? What does that mean?
Yes, that's a great question, because it really hits the focus on the core of what we do with Lotse, and it's really bringing this next level of automation into procurement processes, where we have seen so far most of the times a lot of tedious manual tasks, and where we see now it's time for automation, and of course then leveraging algorithms, leveraging the possibilities we have right now in tech to really free capacities and bring more the strategic component to procurement. And in this sense, also, of course, sustainability will play a huge role. But more on this then probably in a second now, when I will explain more on Lotse. All right, then thank you very much for the intro. And I'm very happy to be here today for Lotse and tell you more about our vision, especially for the next generation of procurement execution, with a specific focus on indirect spend. And why indirect spend? So the answer to this question is actually already within the name Lotse, because Lotse is not only a tech company from Berlin, it's actually also one of the highest mountains on planet Earth with over 8,500 meters. But if I would now have the possibility to ask now in the audience, probably only a few people would have known Lotse before this day. And why is this the case? This is because Lotse sits right next to Mount Everest, so the highest mountain we have on Earth. And this is something we like quite similar to what we see in daily conversations we have with companies and procurement departments, that the main focus is always on this huge chunk of 80% strategic spend we see. And the rest, is 20 to 30% of tactical, indirect, non-strategic spend is just completely overlooked and is laying in the shadow. And this, of course, has some severe consequences. First of all, we have just limited transparency. We do not really know what is happening in our departments, what is happening in different entities, what is being bought at different locations. And of course, if I have no overview, I can only also not optimize here accordingly. Also, we have barely enough resources in the procurement department to really tackle the specific challenges related to indirect spend. And also the current systems and tools implemented are just not made for these specific challenges. But at the same time, we see that it's such an indirect, just a fascinating part of spend, because we have 80% of all suppliers usually being within this category, and also 80% of all transactions and events going through indirect spend. So that's why exactly we with Lotse want to bring the next generation of procurement execution to this area. And how do we do this with Lotse? So we sit on top of any kind of processes and tools and systems already implemented. This could be some kind of ERP systems, e-procurement systems. And then within Lotse, we aggregate all kind of data and user flows to bring some AI-enabled intelligent automation to then achieve substantial process time savings. And the 70% we see here on the right is really a number we see with also large companies where we can really place a lot of tedious manual tasks. And also through an efficient and intelligent leveraging of the supplier data, achieve then also significant savings in the next step. And in the long term, of course, what do we want to achieve is a lot of transparency and strategic insights also within indirect spend to also in long term bring all spend under management. But what I want to focus on, and also where this automated RFX come into place, is this execution part of Lotse. Because in execution, what we do here with Lotse is provide you with a platform that guides you very fast and quick through this 3-step process from request definition to request coordination and awarding. And where we see here also already the first vision for indirect spend is going away from all these fragmented landscapes where I go through different catalogs, have different systems in place, and actually have one central anti-gate where I have just one space where I can type in what I'm looking for. It could be a screen like here, or any kind of table marketing agency. And we identify immediately what kind of would be the best sourcing option for the specific demand you have. This could be, for example, a catalog directly integrated, or also some kind of predefined customized template that we propose to you to in the end enable you and enable the user to have a very quick free text requisition creation process where the free text can be created in just under 10 minutes. And then in the next step, I think this is when we come really to this core of what do we do with Lotse. What we do is we take the existing supplier data, so what is already in the ERP system, then we enrich the data with specific knowledge on what can the supplier actually do, what kind of products and services can the supplier provide, and additional information. Also now the hint with sustainability, thinking of the Supply Chain Act or Lieferkettengesetz, we also implement specific and integrate data on certificates related to ESG compliance or specific supplier performance indices. And all this data we use now in our AI in the background to propose you with a auto-generated list of preferred suppliers for every specific request that you type in. So that in the end, you just have a short list of suppliers from which you can select what matches what you think would be the best to invite here. Then the invites are automatically sent out, and you also have an integrated communication platform within Lotse. So just in the end, you just have a transparent overview of different offers. Lotse already gives you a first recommendation on what to choose, what is strategically best one to go for. And then you can just click with one click, you can select an offer. And then, of course, it's very important to have this continuous loop and seamless integration into the existing landscape that we just push back the information into the existing system in the form of, for example, a PR or PO that we just directly put in the SAP system, for example. And what is, of course, very important for us as well, and maybe you've seen it a bit on the screenshots here as well, we really want to bring this next standard of user friendliness and user interface also to this B2B world, where we want to make it also very intuitive to create these processes, to go through a process and like be guided by the automation we can provide you with. Yes, and currently we're working already with a lot of large companies, with especially a focus in the DACH region, with different kind of scenarios and use cases. And I'm very happy also to talk individually with some of you in the next days, weeks, months to discuss also how we with Lotse could bring your procurement execution to the next level. So in case you're interested, just feel free to text me directly or just visit our website or book a demo directly via the QR code you can see here. So thank you very much. This is Lotse.
Thank you very much. That was impressive, really cool. Just give me a small hint of if you say something about plug and play. How easy is your plug and play? How easy is your onboarding just to have a test with you?
Yes, of course, that's a really good question. Like in the end, we really want to go to this point where it's just very easy and very smooth to integrate into the existing system. Of course, there are always different kind of requirements, but in the normal case and standard case, when we have an SAP system or just a standard e-procurement system in place, it's really easy. And we say it's like a standard process for us that we have in place, where also our tech team is involved, and we have an like operators team from our side that really supports this onboarding process and to make it a really smooth process. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much. It was good to hear that. Easy onboarding, easy going is also one of our next startups, which is Factory. And Factory is also another startup from Berlin. Benjamin is with us. Hello, Benjamin.
So, hi everyone. And hi,
cool.
Stephan.
Good to have you here. And I just understand on your side that you are the perfect partner if you are in an online manufacturing business. If you're looking for somebody who is fulfill the production of CNC parts, of drawing parts, of drawing detail parts, just like that. Is that my understanding in the perfect way? How can I rely on your partnerships in these network? How is that working for you?
First of all, yes, you're right. I mean, that's the perfect address to go to, the factory. Yeah, I think what this will also be part of the presentation, or at least like a part, but what distinguishes us like from other suppliers like that have a similar approach is that we, first of all, we take full responsibility. I mean, it's not that we just set up like a marketplace infrastructure and then connect like the client and the manufacturer. Like, this is not what is happening with factory. We take full responsibility for the parts. It means we are the sole contracting party, like for our clients as well as for our suppliers, and therefore we fully take the risk for the quality. So it's in our interest that we ensure like a high quality of parts and a smooth procurement process. The second part is that we have like a data-driven quality management system that is like ISO 9001 certified. So we steadily monitor like the quality our suppliers provide for us, and in case something like our high quality standards are not met, it's very easy like to downgrade those suppliers and remove them consequently like from our network. So yeah, to answer your question in brief. To factory in general, like 5 minutes are short, so I'll directly dive into it. Today I'm gonna present like factory, the online manufacturer. Like in a nutshell, what we are like an online procurement platform for custom parts of all kinds. And I think it's always just some of the hard facts first. Like factory was founded in 2017. We have 30 employees, and we are 100% bootstrapped. And as you already heard, we're based in Berlin, to be precise, in Wedding, in the old Ostramhöfe. It's like you can see a picture here. This is where like the first light bulbs in Germany were have been manufactured by Osram. And some quick words about me. Like this is our founding team. I'm the one on the very right. Like I'm CMO and co-founder of Factory. My expertise is in B2B performance marketing. And just as a side fact, like in my former life, I was actually a political scientist and economist. And before I landed in procurement, and So I want to start with the product. So I think it's always good if those who are not so familiar with the product, that you can have a look and see what we're actually producing or selling. Like these are custom engineered parts in in different forms and shapes and colors, and everything that can be manufactured like can be procured from us. This is our approach in a nutshell. Like this is probably the most important information I want to share with you today. We have a large network of suppliers, like currently more than 2,000 manufacturing partners from all different fields, different manufacturing techniques like CNC machining, sheet metal working, 3D printing, of course, and and this thus like ensuring that we have like virtually unlimited capacity, and also at the same time like the broadest manufacturing range in the market. Like it's even if you have like a very complex project, usually we'll always find like a supplier who's able to handle that and can provide you like an offer. Like that's the second part, like the smart selection, because even if you have like a huge network, it doesn't help you much if you don't find like the correct partner like for the specific project. We have like an AI supported selection of the perfect manufacturer, like in terms of quality, price, and delivery times. And the last point, this is like addressed to the question you asked, like everything's like from one single source. Like we're the only contract partner, and we take full responsibility for reliable delivery and the quality of the parts. So this is our approach like in a nutshell. What does this mean? Like, yeah, we can handle all of your projects. I mean, depending on, completely independent of manufacturing technique. I already named some of them. Project size, starting from prototype of a quantity of 1 to large series productions. You can have micro precision parts and like huge parts. I will show you that in the case study where you manufacture like steel parts with 5 tons. And yeah, also surface treatments and many different materials. Also, like it's important because it's like a very important point for me. I want to mention that like we offer 100% climate neutral shipping, like from the very start. This is something we did like from 2017 on when we were founded, because it's just matters to us. It's very important. So all the carbon emissions that were created by transport and we're completely offset, and we're working with South Pole, like one renowned partner. We have more than 10,000 satisfied customers. Like I said, 2017 founded. Like we're not so young anymore. We have like a wide range of customers, like starting from a one-man, one-woman company, like engineers, to huge corporations like Siemens, Parker Hannifin, Festo, and Freudenberg. These are some of the just some quotations like from different case studies we made like with all of these companies. And but what I want to talk about a little more in detail, like this is the project I am actually the most proud of. We're also working with CERN. This is one of the largest projects we had so far. We were providing like steel parts, like 5 tons, that were used for radiation protection, and they are actually like built in the CERN CMS particle detector. And this is something that made me very proud that we could manage this. And I think it's a good example, like how really complex projects can handle via like a manufacturing platform like ours. Because it was very hard like for CERN to find like a supplier who was able to manufacture these parts. But talking to us, like we screened some suppliers, and we found one who was able to do the job, and the project went very smoothly. And in the end, there was like a perfect case study that I'm of course willing to share with you if you're interested, like in more detail. Like the key advantages to take away: we're fast, we're versatile, and we're reliable. And I think we offer many advantages, like even if it's like a small company. So for example, hardware startups, they can focus on their core product without caring too much about sourcing suppliers. This is what we do. They don't have to care about that. From that to huge corporations, for who we're just like a very good option, like for outsourcing, even if they have their own manufacturing capacities. But since we can offer competitive prices and reliable quality, so it's very often it's like a good choice to just go with us instead of doing the job themselves. That's basically it. These are my contact details again. If you're interested in our services, you can just visit our website, and also you can just add me on LinkedIn. If you have any questions, I'm always willing to chat a little. Just let me know. And I hope it was interesting for you. And so thanks for your listening.
Cool. Thank you very much. I'm really impressed. And just let me say this in terms of a procurement punk. Bam! That is a really supplier side and the storytelling for what kind of business you're doing there. Very impressive. Just send me a little small question. And was it fun, or was it all more a struggle for integrate your machine learning on your side? Is it more a fun side to integrate that technology to your business, or is it a struggle still?
I think IT is always struggle, I would say. I think it's not like a huge thing for us. I mean, this is basically, I think you have to understand where we come from, because we're like not a VC funded company that comes like with a huge idea that needs these buzzwords. Basically, I mean, we're not an AI startup. AI is a tool for us, like one tool among many. Like a huge part of the supplier selection is just data analysis, like statistics without AI.
Okay.
But we, of course, like we want to stay up to date, and of course we're also always testing like different techniques that we are basically running against each other, and we'll see what performs best. And AI of course also has its place there, but I don't consider Factory as an AI startup. I mean, this is basically what I want to say.
This is what we have next. We have an AI startup which is very, very strong in analytics and loads of analytics. They have it even in your name, which is a little bit a slightly difference to our another startup where we're beginning today, Lotse, and now Lotse Analytics. They are not the same company, but a little bit in this way for the name. But this company now is very strong in AI and in a strategic procurement way. So how is AI working on your side, and what makes it so special to your solution?
Yeah, thank you, Stephan. Hi, it's Daniel. So we use an AI expert system right now. So what we try to do is mimic the perfect buyer in a direct manufacturing world, managing direct spend. So we develop our own algorithms that mimic the perfect buyer. So we want to go definitely beyond the standard visualization stuff, the standard dashboarding. So we have our AI system that analyzes data, that interprets the data, that thinks like a perfect buyer. But I'll speak a little bit about this in my presentation. But that's really our USP is our algorithms and our AI. So let me start. So yeah, we are focusing on direct spend, on direct procurement. We bring a lot of experience. So the founders come from the automotive world, have experience in the appliance industry, in the medical industry. So that's where we focus on. Our mission is really to help companies generate cost-saving opportunities, generate cost savings. So these are not process savings or efficiency savings. So these are savings in your part price, in the manufacturing components that you're buying. And as I said, we focus on the direct spend of manufacturing components. Our focus area, as said, is industrial companies, manufacturing companies, where usually the bomb to sales ratio is between 40 and 70%, on average 60, where there's low margins. And our focus area is really on what are the key cost drivers here, which is the production material, the plastic parts, the rubber parts, the chemical parts, the electronics, the steel parts. So that is where we want to focus on, and that's where we want to provide value to our customers. So what is the problem? The problem today is still in a lot of companies, besides the firefighting and the raw material price increases that are going on, is still that the buyers and managers are spending a lot of time with data management, with preparing meetings, internal communication, and really no time is left, or not as much time as it should be, to work on strategy, to work on negotiations, to prepare for your negotiations and your supplier meetings. And I think it should be different. I think we should, in a scenario, have the companies really, or the buyers and managers, focus on strategy, focus on negotiations, get them prepared for negotiations. And that's really where we want to help. We want to get rid of the data management stuff, the internal stuff where we want to help, but also provide the buyer with the perfect preparation to prepare for strategies, to identify cost-saving opportunities automatically. So that's where we want to help companies get to with our solution. So if you look at the typical life cycle of a production manufacturing part, there's a lot of stuff that happens after you source a part, after you issue the PO. There's raw material prices that changes, go up and down, that you need to monitor as a buyer and keep in front of you. There's volume changes, new technologies emerging. So volumes could go up and down on your part number. There's logistic costs which are changing after you source a part. I think we've all lived through it with the shipping costs from Asia to the rest of the world on the container pricing. There's cost breakdowns that you get from your suppliers where cycle times maybe change, or energy costs increase, labor costs increase. There's FX rates or currency exchange rate that impact the piece price over time if you're buying in a different currency than where the supplier is located. There's updated offers. There's duty rates, HS stuff, tariffs, which play an impact that can change over a life cycle. So all this stuff you basically don't need to worry about because we bring it with our software. So all the market intelligence feeds into our software, and that's where we get a little bit to our solution. So we're an AI-based tool. So what we do is we take the external market intelligence that I just showed you, we bring this information with our tool, and we map it to your parts, to each of your part numbers. We fully integrate it, you have it, visualize it on your screen. You will have all the KPIs that you need, all the tracking, all the analytics. But really, our key USP is how do we generate savings? So all the AI we programmed, which I'd love to share with you when we have a little bit more time than just these 5 minutes. But that's really what we bring to the table and how we want to help the businesses. So talking about our product, as I said, so one, we provide to the users full transparency from your top level down to your cost breakdown level. We help generate new savings opportunities. We help implement the savings opportunities. So we developed a key project tool to drive the savings ideas that you have, that the software is recommending, to the finish line in a very effective way. At the end of the day, to impact really your bottom line, to help you save money and run your strategic purchasing, your procurement organization globally very efficiently. So yeah, as I said, we want to be the all-in-one solution. So we cover the dashboard, the AI generator, which is our USP, our saving initiative manager. We also help prepare the buyers for negotiation. So they don't need to print or work on PowerPoints. We print the data packs. We prepare them for the supplier negotiation with all the know-how, all the data. We have a saving planning and reporting tool. We help to keep the data clean, all that stuff. So we try to help with everything. So what's our value proposition? One, I think we need to be quick. If it takes a year to put a system in place, so we came up with our ERP connectors, our experience that we can connect data very fast to the customer databases, to the ERP system. So I think it's very important that we deliver great time to value to our customers. Yeah, and we have a real cost saving. So this is, you will see it in your part prices. With our AI, you will be always up to date with the market intelligence that will be mapped to each of your parts. And it's really a self-financing business case. So the cost of the software versus the cost, the potential savings opportunity, you will have a great ROI. So yeah, that's the last slide. I'd love to get in contact with you, share more details about how we do it, our algorithms, how we trigger opportunities automatically, how we keep the buyer focused on what they're important to do, and we do all the work for the buyer. That's our goal and how we want to help companies.
Daniel, thank you very much. Really
Sure.
Also very impressive to see what AI can do, and everything is based on data. This is definitely clear in our times, and we need to have a very good insight to this data. Data is so much and so big and so at hand, but we need to have an insight, and your solution gives an insight to that. What is core in the procurement business, and core is having a plan, having a solution, having a recommendation, having an idea of where do we can save our money. Saving is also a KPI, the major or the most important KPI. New KPIs arrive now, but still saving is a tremendous important KPI, and your software is helping not only on the direct procurement, maybe also on the indirect. It all depends on data at that time. Data Absolutely. Is also something which Supplytechs itself has on its site. Please go to the site Supplytechs, and you see a lot of data about supplies and about the other startups on the scene, structured in spend analytics, in compliance, in so many different ways. And one of the other part now is we have a new Elena here. She is working for Inhaber, and Inhaber is a wonderful startup in terms of what can we do with our contracts, and what is the smart part of a contract, and what is the challenge of having a really good talk about contracting. Do you have any insights for us for the topic of how can we manage our contracts in a proper way?
Hello, Stephan. Thanks for the introduction. Yes, of course. So my whole presentation will be exactly on this topic. Like, what are the challenges? What are the possibilities in order of managing contracts in a transparent and secure way? So, my name is Elena Meček. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Inhaber. And what are the challenges we are facing when talking with our customers, with the companies? So coming straight to the problem, there is usually no central contract repository. So let's say the legal department has his own contracts, there's the procurement, which has some other contracts. There are contracts in paper form, some are stored on servers, some are stored on SharePoint, OneDrive, whatever it is. But at the end, when you need to find the contract you're looking for, it's often time consuming. And especially with Corona crisis, what we saw now, do you always know who has access to the contracts? Are they stored in a GDPR compliant way? And if someone is working from home office, does he actually have access to all the contracts he needs? Second point, to find actually the information you need within the contracts. So the keywords, but also when is the due date of the contract? How are we managing these deadlines? Do we have a total overview, total transparency on when the contract is being ended? When is the cancellation date? What happens if someone of our employees has the deadline in his Outlook calendar, let's say, and he gets sick? So he just disappears for a few weeks. Does some other employee have the access to the calendar? Do you have the total transparency of when the contracts are being due, ending, etc.? So what we saw, especially again with Corona crisis, that there is often no transparency in that regard. The next point is the complex signature process. Many companies do have an e-signature solution, but still it's often the case that you need to send documents over email, which is unencrypted usually. So it provides you also some danger in being attacked by cyber. And what we saw recently, like within the last 2 years, that there are more and more cyber attacks happening with actual increase in digitalization. So what we are offering is a highly secure, highly encrypted contract repository, so that you actually know at any time who has access to which contracts within your company, and you find the contract you're looking for very easily. So a collaboration platform for your company, for your employees, but also for external partners. We also have artificial intelligence at our platform, with which we can find the information, the metadata from your contracts, actually what you need. And also a mass of contracts, like a lot of contracts can be checked on certain information. A deadline management, so that you are being informed on time when the contract is about to end, when the cancellation date is due, when you can prolong the contract, certain milestones. What is special about our solution is that we also have a digital signature as part of the contract management platform, which means you don't need to move the contract after it has been signed from one place, let's say from your email, to the contract repository. So you actually store the contract at the repository, you provide access to your employees, you set up that deadline management, and you can invite people to sign the contract. And to make the picture complete, we also have, for example, the SharePoint integration, so that you actually have a total solution for you. Happy customers, so Goldweg is one of our largest customers, with Martin Franke as the head of central procurement. They're using us for over 1.5 years already, and are especially satisfied with the usability, so it's very easy to handle, and also the time savings which Inhaber brings in regard with contracts. How are we different from the competitors, and how are we placing ourselves? So we provide a holistic platform. Yeah, we are not only contract management, not only signature platform. We have a total amount of all possibilities which you need in regard with contract management. So finding the information you need, and what is especially easy is the handling. So there's almost no training or installation needed, like no installation at all. We are a highly secure platform with a unique encryption of every contract, providing you the same security as if you would have own servers in your company. And yeah, with it, I'm coming to the end of my presentation and sending you love from Berlin.
Thank you, Elena. So good. We have a couple of startups from Berlin, but also from other countries even now, which we see in a minute. But thank you so far. And as what I learned also is it's not only about a document, it's also about a process around the document and to process that in a cyber secure way. This is the future key, because risk minimization is also part of where procurement should have an eye on. And if we work with contracts, which is definitely a very severe topic, then we should make sure this is in a secure way. Thank you very much.
Exactly.
We come now to another country even, which is Italy. So Marta from Italy is here, and she is from I think, is it, what town was that again?
So I'm from Turin, but Supply was born and its legal seat is in Milan.
In Milano. So Torino and Milano, so two nice towns in Italy. Thank you very much so far. We will see you in a minute talking about vendor management and about supplier relation management and what is the important thing there, and how can we bring this new things into supplier management, like sustainability. How important is it to have an overview on the carbon footprint in level 1, 2, and 3 probably, and how can we do the right thing within the supplier side and bring this into our systems to work with a proper supplier side. How can we do that with supply?
Well, Stephan, thank you so much for your question, first of all. So if we talk about compliance, it is one of the two pillars on which supply is based, coupled up with efficiency. So it is of paramount importance for us. And if we think about compliance, there can be actually two different takes on it. So if you're focusing on legislative and normative compliance, so on a broader and more international level, we address it with our compliance check module. But it can also be buyer-specific as type of compliance. That is the respect of sine qua non conditions that are necessary for the production process, such as capabilities, certificates, and sustainability levels, which are verified in the qualification process. Also, with supply chain corporate due diligence becoming a major point of attention across the world, I'd like to add that doing the right thing is something that must be done by all players across the entire supply chain. So I will discuss sustainability a little bit further within the introduction. So supply, what is supply? Supply is an innovative vendor management software as a service, working vertically on the sector of B2B industrial equipment and services, which accounts for 30% of the global GDP and is responsible for over 20% of global CO2 emissions. And as I am sure all of you here know, buyer organizations share several common problems, such as spending more than 50% of revenues for purchasing goods and services, relying on long, fragmented, and global supply chains with thousands of suppliers and SMEs, and having these same supply chains end up accounting for more than 70% of their carbon footprint within the scope 3. And finally, buyers are being more and more requested to share sustainability levels and carbon footprint. Yet little public data is available, and there is no industry standard indicating how to measure sustainability and carbon emissions by industry vertical, leading to multiple yet tentative individual approaches. So supply wants to tackle these problems because sustainability demands collaboration and inclusiveness. And we believe supply is the digital enabler to make sustainable supply chains possible across industry verticals. Working with major players of the industrial sector, including both EPC contractors and end users, supply understands and anticipates the industry needs, whether these are traditional and recurring or new and disruptive. And this is one of the reasons why we were recognized as a best-of-breed solution by Spend Matters in their fall 2021 solution map, qualifying among the best value leader in the supplier relationship management and risk category. But let me tell you more about how supply actually works. So Supply is a multi-tenant and industry-shared modular platform that can be integrated with any kind of ERP, bidding, P2P system. On Supply, buyers can perform all traditional vendor management processes, such as scouting, qualification, performance evaluation, as well as create a more sustainable supply chain. Actually, let me show you a brief clip of the platform while we're at it, so you can better understand our potential, especially in terms of sustainability, thanks to the ESG meter and the carbon tracker modules. Supply relies on a standard categorization of supply that classifies industrial products and services, both direct and indirect, in over 2,600 categories. Let's explore a specific type of heat exchanger and choose one of the soon-to-be 70,000 vendors present on platform. It's important to mention that registration is free of charge for suppliers who, due to the industry-specific network effect, are strongly motivated to provide accurate information and to always keep it up to date. The collection, quality assurance, and constant expediting of information is performed by Supply directly. It's done once and for all players involved, generating strong savings in terms of money, time, and resources. The ESG meter is built on industry-shared ESG guidelines specific for the B2B industrial sector. Buyers use it to assess the environmental, social, and governance performance levels of their supply chain and subsequently focus on improvement. And remember that we are only as sustainable as the last of our supplier is. Our newest module, Carbon Tracker, implements a disruptive approach to calculate the carbon footprint of your specific supply chain, taking into consideration the category of supply and the production location. It allows buyers to get a deep understanding of the GHG emissions of their suppliers using supplier-specific data and creating a benchmark by commodity. We also maintain a digital tracking of their improvements across the years, thus facilitating their access to green finance. A few final words before I wrap it up, I promise. Adopting Supply, buyers benefit from a prompt return from their investment. We recorded more than 40% cost reduction, 180% enhanced visibility on their supplier base, and 3 times more compliance. Ultimately, Supply shares trust and enhancing transparency, facilitating efficient and compliant vendor management processes. So thank you for your attention, Stephan, thank you for having us today, and I look forward to hearing back from you.
Thank you very much. And just to add something which I saw on your website when I had my preparation for this perfectly pitched session is also this single source of truth, which I really like, because you not only optimize things for the silo procurement, you optimize also the things for the other stakeholders within a company.
Yes,
so
what always happens.
Database.
Yes, what often happens is that visibility on information regarding suppliers is divided across multiple sources, and buyer users have to, verify information across different systems. On Supply, everything is in one single place, and you end up having one single source of truth on your supplier.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. We come to our next startup, which is also a startup coming not from Germany. It is Robert from Bynamics. And Bynamics is also a well-known brand if we talk about WTP, which is what's the next price. And they have even another product at hand, which is VRS. And I'm not spelling it now because it's your part to understand or to explain that. But it is one of the next level of negotiation, one of the core thing of procurement. If you are a proud procurement officer, you think you can do really good negotiations, and then you come around and have another tool for us. So please tell us, how is the benefit? Where is the key for procurement to have your tool at hand?
I will, Stephan. Thank you for the introduction. So, Robert from the Netherlands. I have been a buyer and a procurement manager for more than 20 years myself. And this is where I got very frustrated about the fact that within procurement, a lot of people are not working with data. So the power of the data most of the time is on the other side of the table. The salespeople, the marketeers, they own that part of the power, and this should change. So get insight into all cost drivers in less than 5 minutes. And this is exactly the time I have today. So let me start with a question. What does the top management expect from procurement? And the answer is clear. 79% of the top management only expects one thing. Please reduce costs. And then the second question, do all buyers understand what costs are? And also that answer is pretty easy. No, not all of them know how to deal with cost, because most of the buyers, they focus on prices. But let's assume you have all the information available any day of any time of the week, any minute. Imagine what you can do. And this is something we try to solve for the procurement department. So we have been collecting a lot of big data, and I'm going to tell you a bit more about the background. So on the right-hand side above, 360 different industries. And we can tell you how the cost profiles per industry look like, because we studied more than 260,000 financial reports of companies. And by combining them, we can tell you how the average cost price structure is built up. Number one, number two in most industries is commodity prices, commodities, direct materials, and direct labor. So these became our second and third database. Today we have 1,650 different commodity prices available, most of the time history of about 10 years. And we have insights into the labor cost and energy cost of the 60 most important countries in the world. Of course, currency, but that's pretty easy. And what happens when you combine all this information? So, for example, commodity data. On the right-hand side, you can see all the categories where you can choose from. You just make your selection, you build your own graph, and this should be the basic preparation of each buyer when you start talking to your supplier. Just combine the most relevant commodities at currencies, at labor cost, at energy cost, at transportation cost, and you have your own graph, and that's the basis of each negotiation. And of course, salespeople try to do the same, and they always present data like this in their advantage. Everything is going up. But when you look at your own data, you can draw the conclusion that they only look at a part of it. So take the historical perspective and add actual data, and then the power of the data is on your side. This is the most special thing we are doing because of all the financial statements. We can tell you the cost structure in 364 different industries. We added thousands of keywords. For example, you are curious how the cost price looks in the industry where people produce a radiator. You simply type in the word radiator, you select, in this case, sheet metal work, you select the country of production, and the system will show you the average cost price structure in this specific industry when production takes place in Germany. And where you find a plus, you can open. So look at all the overhead costs, contract work 3%, energy costs 2.3. So when energy prices are going sky high, plus 10%, you multiply that with 2.3%, and then you know the impact on your purchasing price. All the details are here. Should costing, that's the next level, and let me show this just for example with an extremely simple product, a carton box. So you look at the materials, you combine the weight of these materials, and the system will tell you the actual price of the materials used for this product. You can compare that with historical prices, and in this case, of course, carton prices are now going up, but in this specific example, they were going down with 4%. You can look at the historical development, you can compare that with the development of your purchasing prices, and then it's of course beautiful to show the added value of the vendor, the difference between the purchasing price and the commodity price. That's the added value, and that amount should be pretty stable. So finally, we calculated the highest and most relevant percentage, which is almost 50%, and it's called direct materials. When you base that on, for example, the average material price of the last 3 years, we can tell this is 19 cents. Very straightforward. 100% will be about 38 cents. That's the should cost price of the product within 5 minutes. This is what you compare with your buying price, and you want to have a discussion, a transparent dialogue with your vendor about the difference of 7.7 cents. Please explain me why there is a difference. And all printed on a one pager, because we are pragmatic people, and people within procurement, they don't have time. So you need to make it simple within 5 minutes and a one pager. And that's what we do. WTP stands for What's the Price? We were rewarded by Spend Matters Almanac. Very proud on that. They put us on the top 50 best solution in digital procurement over the last 2 years. Some of our customers all over the place, still growing. And this is my name. So when you would like to know more about the background of the tool, don't hesitate to contact me or to link on LinkedIn. So that's all.
Robert,
5 minutes?
Yes, perfectly done.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that overview, which gives me also the idea of it's always important as a procurement officer to be prepared, and you are even better prepared if you have your data at hand and have more transparency to develop your own supplier side even then, because be very frank and open and kind to the people this is transparency. So it helps you in negotiations. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. It brings me to our last but not least startup, which is Ignite Procurement. And Priscilla is coming from Oslo. She is working for Ignite Procurement, which is a spend management company to bring, and that is something which I found on your website, is like where other people see only a chaos, you have structure and possibilities. And this is something we would like to learn from you. What is the possibility in a good spend management?
Exactly. Thank you so much, Stephan. Yeah, this is a very good question. And in order to have a good spend management, you need, first of all, a clarity and transparency. And this is where we actually see a massive white space out there, with the majority of businesses not covered with sufficient spend management solutions. So consolidating, cleaning, and enriching of the data are often challenges and not taken care of as they should. And many of those activities are still done manually, taking up a lot of valuable time. And still transparency is missing, and procurement experts, as well as the management, are missing a foundation to base their decision on. But the situation is no longer exactly the same, and especially due to the current pandemic scenario, and the focuses are changing, and business leaders are investing more and more to reap the benefits of digitizing strategic procurement. And this is also backed by the latest Deloitte CPO survey that states that analytics, created insights, and intelligence is the most straightforward way for CPOs to add value. And this is exactly what we do at Ignite, and this is what we are here for. We have seen the massive potential to create value and to make an impact in the procurement industry at a global scale. The need for a holistic spend management solution to do more with less and to be more profitable, efficient, and proactive, or simply to make strategic procurement easy. We have just embarked on a great journey. We started in 2017 with an MVP and Norway as our laboratory, and now we are scaling fast and focusing on growing internationally while building a holistic support for strategic procurement with advanced data science. And the next step for us will be to go larger and to evolve into a global strategic procurement solution focusing the mid-market. To follow our vision, we have developed a best-of-breed solution that connects all the important focus areas of strategic procurement in one solution. Starting with a combination of artificial intelligence and modern algorithms to consolidate and to clean and enrich our customers' data. And there's no one-fits-for-all solution, but we explicitly customize our approach to our customers using battle-proven methods. And this approach enables us to create value even if the majority of the data is rather low. by improving the data quality and to allow new perspectives to the data. In Ignite Procurement, you can have you build up your one more slide. Sourcing events can directly be launched through Ignite Procurement, allowing you to conduct an efficient and elegant process that will make it possible for you to identify and to avoid the supplier fitting best to your needs. Contracts can either be managed directly in Ignite, or contract data can also be integrated from an external tool. The connection of your spend and the contract data will open up new perspectives and provide valuable insights. In a supplier card, all relevant information from a supplier is consolidated at one spot, and both internal and external supplier assessments can be conducted and analyzed in a systematic and structured way. In order to not lose track on all the actions that you have discovered and that you need to address, all insights can be transferred into actions using the initiatives and task planner. And these are not only fluffy words, this is what we do. And if you would like to get some examples and insights in how this could look for you and how Ignite Procurement can create value to your data, please reach out to me, and I'm very happy to jump on a call and to discover further with you.
Prisca, thank you so much for this overview to your solution, and I learned so many things today from all your solutions, so that I'm very happy to have all of you here. And I would just say thank you for the last 60 minutes. It is not maybe a minute more, but we are more or less in time, having wonderful startups here at hand. And I would like to thank you, all of you, and welcome you back to the stage, please, and just give everybody a small goodbye. And I'm very sure that you should all now step into the next step, which is find your startup together with Supplytechs and find your next step. Just do it, or as a procurement punk in Germany would say, einfach mal machen. Thank you very much so fast, and goodbye for the next time. Bye-bye.